Let's go ahead and move on now to domestic politics. We're going to talk about all of the primaries that happened last night. I think that so in general, high level overview, I think that like last night was kind of like a mixed bag, probably is how I'd describe it. A lot of like there were a lot of like neo-lib centrist types that won. There were a couple exceptions though, of left populists like Bernie Krat style people winning as well. So let's go and watch. I got a few videos lined up about the elections, and then I'm gonna try and then some videos of like people analyzing the elections, and then so I want to go ahead and maybe go through a few or a couple of these videos, and we'll see what we think about it. Like I always try to say though, I don't know all of the people who are running in all of these races. I'm not that tuned in. Like I consider myself pretty tuned in for an American, at least in terms of like national politics, but I don't know like every single person and every single one of their policy positions in every race that's going on. There's a lot of them, people, and I always say, I have a life. I have a life outside of this. So anyway, let's go ahead and start watching some stuff. This first video is going to be about I think a high level overview of the various races. This is from the national desk. I don't know who the national desk is, but and this will be primary election results still coming in for California, Iowa, and New Jersey. So I don't know if this is just posted today, but it was from last night. But I think there should be hopefully a decent amount of coverage of who won in which race, and maybe we can talk about it a little more.
Come on the air, election results still pouring in from high stakes primaries that will shape the midterms this fall. We are tracking the latest results across the country, including deep blue California, where voters are putting Democrats on notice by backing Republican candidates.
Well, deep blue is I don't know, man. We're like California, like I think a lot of people don't understand Californian politics. Like on average, yes, it's blue. That's true. But there's a lot of really red, like, you know, there's a lot of like Republican coded people. There's just a lot of like Fox News people, like people who watch Fox News over there. Like there is a decent like chunk of Republican areas and stuff. And so I don't know. I never really like characterizing California as deep blue, even if it does nationally go blue. I think that the different areas and stuff are so are a lot more close than people realize in terms of like Republican versus Democrat. But okay, let's keep going.
And thank you for joining us. I'm Jan Jeffcoat. It is Wednesday, June 3rd, and this morning, California still counting millions of mail-in ballots, but early results already showing that Democrats may not run away with victories and could face some tough challenges. That includes Los Angeles, where the mayoral race is likely headed to a runoff. Incumbent Mayor Karen Bass has already inked her spot, and Spencer Pratt not far behind there. The race for governor also...
My understanding is that both of those two suck. Both of them suck. But you know, what are you going to do?
Neck and neck right now, but Republican candidate Steve Hilton still holding strong and remains in contention for one of the two general election spots with millions of ballots.
So this still has to be counted, right? Like, so California sucks at counting their votes, but they still have to determine between the three. It's Steve Hilton, Becerra, and Steyer, I believe, with Steyer kind of being the more left populist, Becerra being I think standard neoliberal, and then Hilton being the Republican. And so this is for the governor race, by the way. And so it's technically too early to call, but it looks like it's going to be Becerra and Hilton. So neoliberal versus Republican. And Becerra, I think, will probably end up winning that. That's what his name is, right? Javier Becerra. Yeah, or Becerra. Yeah, whatever, close enough. So that's kind of, I think, the current situation there. I think Steve Hilton technically had the lead in terms of those three, but it was also a split vote between the Democrats, but for that. So
ballots again left to count. Mark Boyle joining us now from the live desk with the latest right now. Good morning to you, Mark. The final results there in California, as we know, could still be days away, possibly weeks, who knows. But Republicans right now appear to have a lot more momentum than some expected.
That's right. We're still waiting on some of those mail-in ballots, but certainly an exciting night out in California. And this morning it continues to change as these races are being finalized. Certainly something the entire country is watching, Jan. Ballots still being counted out in the state of California, and that's why these numbers will continue to move around just a bit. Now, here are some of the results that we're tracking for you this morning. The Los Angeles mayoral race, the governor's race out in California, and what's going on in Iowa, talking the governor and Senate races. And let's start in Los Angeles for the mayor's race right now. It's been one to watch. A lot of excitement later this morning. We'll continue to watch. We can confirm here the incumbent Democrat, Mayor Karen Bass, will in fact advance to a November runoff. Bass has enough votes to advance but not win outright. Right now, Republican Spencer Pratt is leading against the Democrat Nithya Raman. And now if things hold the way they are right now, Bass will see Spencer Pratt come November.
We got a lot more to.
Yeah, so I think Nithya Raman, or if that was how they said her name, she was, I think I think she went on Hassan's stream, if I remember correctly. Nithya. Let me just make sure I'm thinking of the right person. Yeah, okay. Yeah, she went on Hassan's stream. So, and I think that she was generally a pretty okay candidate. She didn't have she was really good on, I think, housing, but wasn't that good when it came to like foreign policy and various issues that she wasn't as familiar with. So so she lost, I think, to Spencer Pratt, who will then be going up against Karen Bass here. So it's going to be like both of those people suck. Like that's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
To go, but so far it's looking good. And I am so glad to be here with everyone.
I think the next 5 months I'm going to have time to build out this team to show everybody the level of Democratic supporters that I have behind me.
And in California, still the results for the governor's race still coming in. No outright winner yet, but this morning, the Republican Steve Hilton leading Democrats and Democrat Javier Becerra. Remember, a candidate has to get 50% of the vote to win outright. If not, the top two will then go to a runoff in November. Finally, turning to the state of Iowa, where the candidate endorsed by President Trump took a rare loss. Representative Randy Feenstra failed to advance the general election in November, losing by.
That's interesting. I was expecting all the Trump-backed candidates to win. So I am curious exactly. So Iowa's kind of like leans red, if I remember correctly. Let me see. States, red, blue, purple. Let's see. Do we have a heat map somewhere? Okay, this one seems like a heat map. Not what I meant to do. Come on. There we go. Well, let's see. This was from 2020, I guess. So not the most up to date, but so we got Iowa up here. It's kind of, yeah, it looks kind of purple. Leans. It looks like it's strictly purple according to here from 2020, but I think it leans red a little bit. So that's kind of like an interesting dynamic in terms of this like I don't really know exactly what to take from that. That the Trump-backed candidate lost in Iowa, other than maybe people are pissed off at Trump more in Iowa. I just kind of assume the same amount of cultists live in every state, though. Like the same, like base 30% of voters that will always vote for, who are like fully drunk the Kool-Aid. Was this a primary? Who is this guy again? Randy Feenstra? Feenstra, Iowa. or Zach Land defeats Trump-backed Randy Feenstra. Okay, so or Maha-backed Zach Land defeats Trump-backed. So this was a primary, it looks like. So maybe just for some reason the Republican voters in Iowa aren't as fond of Donald Trump. Maybe that's for his policies related to crops like corn. It's got to be hard to plant corn up there right now. So maybe something along those lines. I'm really unsure as to exactly why Trump failed to pick this one. Maybe he didn't put in enough campaign support. Yeah.
Feenstra failed to advance the general election in November, losing by less than a percentage point. You talk about how every vote counts. It wasn't all bad news in Iowa. Trump-backed candidate Ashley Hinson won the GOP nomination there for Senate to take over for retiring Iowa Senator Joni Ernst. Listen.
Earning his support and endorsement in this race is not something that I take lightly. It is an honor and a responsibility that I will carry with me these next 5 months into November. So thank you, President Trump, for your service to our country.
For more
Wow. Okay. Well, there you go. That's those were two of the more disappointing results. The next one though should hopefully go into a little bit more detail on some of the better results. And the main one was this I forgot how to say his name again. Hamaya, if I remember, New Jersey. What was his name? New Jersey primary results. Hamawi, I think is how you say it. So I think that he was another like Bernie Kratz style person who won. But let's see if this video from CNN gets into it. This is Iowa and New Jersey primary. So maybe they'll do a little bit more of a deep dive as well into those as well.
Let's start with Iowa. We just got some results there in that Senate race. Talk to us about what happened in that state on the Democratic side and why we're even paying attention to Iowa at this moment.
Let's start with the why part because it's a great and important question. Democrats have this on their list as a possibility. Iowa's a Republican state. It's been Republican for a while, but Democrats have this as a possibility in their quest to take back the Senate. They've nominated a candidate tonight. Josh Turek is their candidate. You see they're a runaway in this primary. Some people thought.
So Turek was, I believe, the corporate-backed, like Schumer-backed candidate. So not my ideal candidate. And I also think not an electable candidate. I don't think that this type of candidate is going to play well in Iowa. I think you really need a populist. And so I think that this is probably doomed to failure in terms of this is for the Senate too. So I think that this is kind of doomed. This Turek guy is probably doomed to lose this in Iowa. I mean, I'll keep my hopes up. We do have an unprecedented plus 11 or plus 12 generic Democrat percentage vote percentage lead against Republicans just on average against generic Republicans. So there is still a chance, but this is like the least likely type of candidate to win, I think. So it's a little bit disappointing, but it is what it is. I don't know. I don't really know much about Zach Walz. If he was I think that he was the more progressive vote, but I hadn't heard that much about him. A lot of the people that I watch and stuff didn't really talk about him that much. So I'm guessing that he's not that exciting of a candidate, probably, even if he is probably a better candidate for taking the seat in the Senate. But it is what it is.
It might be more competitive. He's a member of the Iowa legislature. His district is out here in western Iowa. Zach Walz is a member of the Iowa Senate. His district over here, you see this one darker blue dot. He won the area. He's winning the area, at least right now anyway, where his Senate district is. But a big win for Josh Turek. He had the backing of Chuck Schumer and the Democratic establishment in Washington. A lot of national money went in there. Some Iowans didn't like that, but that money clearly helped Josh Turek to a runaway victory there. You say, can a Democrat win a Senate seat in Iowa? The retiring Senator Joni Ernst is not up for this seat. The Republicans picked their nominee tonight. This was an easy one. Ashley Hinson is a Republican congresswoman. This is her district up here in northeast Iowa. Even the Democrats will tell you, Abby, she is a very strong candidate. But what they are hoping for is that the national headwinds, anti-Trump, the affordability crisis, they hope to tie her to Trump, and they hope to pull off this Senate seat. Their hopes in part based on they have a strong candidate in the governor's race as well.
Let's start with what's happening in Iowa, because I think this is maybe the place where you can kind of encapsulate a lot of the big themes. This is a relatively rural state, but it's a pretty red state. And there are a lot of problems, economic problems that they're sort of dissatisfied with the administration and the current status quo on. And now Democrats are looking at a Senate seat and a gubernatorial race, and they're thinking, hey, we might actually be able to compete here.
Yeah, that's right. And Donald Trump won this state by 13 points. Now he's underwater by 7 points. If I had $1 for every time John King said deep root red state, X state, and Democrats have a chance in winning it this cycle, you know, it would, I mean, Democrats at this point are doing very well in these states. This isn't the first time. We were just talking about Texas last week. And it is for the first time in a very long time that the Democrats have done a few things. One, they've put up great candidates in most of these states, in most of these districts. And as much as Chuck Schumer gets a lot of crap from his party, you have to give it to him that in some of these states, they are competitive because Democrats they're good candidates in these places.
I don't understand where she's getting that from. This is for the primary. Like, if they're talking about that one in particular, he picked he pumped a bunch of money into it and got a 60-40 victory against a left populist. Okay, congratulations. That does not in any way indicate whether that person will be more successful when it comes to the general election. I think that person will be significantly less successful than Zach Walz, if I'm going to be honest. I think that he's risking that seat by trying to put some centrist neoliberal hack in there, which, by the way, to most average Americans, people like Chuck Schumer and this Josh Turek guy are going to code as much more like left or whatever, because most Americans don't understand actual left-right dynamics, and they will think that this person is more left than, say, a left populist would. That's just generally speaking. Most people just go by vibes, and they don't actually really even look at policy platforms or whatever. And generally speaking, a lot of people just hate neoliberals and the corporate backed centrists. It's one of the most unpopular things in America right now.
The economy is a huge factor, no matter where you go. No matter how much Republicans try to distract and want to play culture wars, it is the economy that voters care about, and Donald Trump is not delivering on it. And when it comes to Iowa, that is the number one thing. That is why Donald Trump is.
I mean, first they got hit by tariffs, then they got hit by agricultural issues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, farmers have been hit so hard, first by tariffs that devastated the way that they could export their crops, then by the skyrocketing price and scarcity of fertilizer.
So that's kind of what I was guessing. I don't have exit polls or anything to back any of this, these guesses up or whatever. But that was why I was guessing maybe the Trump backed candidate didn't succeed as well there. But one of the Trump backed candidates did, though, that Ashley Hinson girl. So yeah, I don't know.
Which has made it impossible for them to secure their crop yield for next year. So I think for farmers, the price of fuel in a place like Iowa, where the distances are so great, these are things that are disproportionately affecting places like Iowa. And I think it's been a good night so far for the Democratic establishment in that in Turek, they have a guy who is seen as more moderate, who has a history of being able to win in Republican-leaning districts. And so they've got themselves a good candidate.
Yeah, a good night.
They're just trying to reinforce this narrative, dude. I don't know. We'll see. My guess is he's going to lose. I mean, or at least he's more likely to lose than a more progressive left populist candidate.
Good night for Chuck Schumer and the establishment. A not so good night for
got to answer this
left.
I'll just let it play.
So far.
Yeah, so far. But,
in Iowa specifically is what I mean.
But look, I mean,
actually, I'm just going to pause it.
Donald Trump is
Yeah. No, there was. Okay. Well, oh, also, they haven't even. Okay. Well, my cat hasn't even gone into surgery yet. They're running late. Also, there was some regrowth on the last side that she got taken out for, a little bit more cancer. So they're going to go in and try to get that, with wider margins is what they said. So, and hopefully it won't regrow back again. So there's your Clay's cat has cancer update. As we all get into a bummer mood. They're really the election results last night put me in like a not super bummer mood, but kind of like not the best mood, and now also the cat stuff is like, ugh, man. I was in an okay mood, I guess, before, but I don't know. It's sad. I hope that my cat is okay, but she's strong. I believe in her. Okay, anyway, let's keep watching this. Whatever, I guess, analysis. I was hoping they would talk a little bit more about New Jersey in here. It says Iowa and New Jersey in the title, so we'll see.
In Iowa specifically, is what I mean.
But look, I mean, Donald Trump has basically been stomping on the people of Iowa, as I just said. Why can't they get the fertilizer? Because the Iran war has made it impossible for farmers to be able to fertilize their crops around the world, including in Iowa. You got a state that was there for Donald Trump, was there for him 3 times in a row, and is getting just stomped in the face by this president. And so now the Democrats have Turek. His personal story as a Paralympian, this guy wheels.
I'm going to skip ahead to see if they talk about New Jersey at all here.
NRSC was spending money to elect Jasmine Crockett, and there have been in other places where Republicans have tried to meddle, like New Jersey, where they've tried to meddle in elections where they can to get their candidate of choice, and it hasn't always worked. And instead, what has happened,
Democrats are doing in Montana tonight?
What has happened, what has actually happened is now Republicans are not only going to have to spend a significant amount of money in both of these states, which is going to hurt them in other states as well, given that they're going to have to spend money to defend these.
Republicans actually have the money, and the Democrats don't. I mean, that's the other issue.
Our candidates are raising money.
Not nearly as much as the Republicans.
Democrats aren't raising money. They're not raising that much. But that's just because, like, that's multifaceted. I don't need to get super into it, I guess. But in general, the Democrats just no longer are are no longer seen as capable of winning, right? Like that's like the big part when it comes to the big like individual donors, I guess that's like the big part. And then when it comes to the corporate donors, they're starting to get scared of the left populists who are getting elected, who might end up like slightly raising their taxes or whatever. So like those are the two major reasons that the Democrats aren't really making money.
And they don't have the same bankroll right now. That's the reality. Well, except for the one running in California and trying to
just take a moment on Congressman Tom Kaine, who is MIA.
Okay, I don't think they're going to talk about New Jersey, who was the last one I wanted to talk about. But I guess we'll just go to this Fox News clip then. I had this as a backup, or like I was hoping I could get like actual, analysis or like coverage of New Jersey from here. Oh wait, one sec. Here's some New Jersey Dems. Okay. Let's skip ahead to right here first, and let's see if we can get some more information on the New Jersey one from CNN.
In his job, running unopposed, endorsed this morning by President Trump, who says, "Get out and vote for Tom. He will not let you down." But he hasn't been seen in Washington in months, and then won't even explain what the issue is. He says, "Right now, I'm focused on my recovery, and under the advice of healthcare professionals, I'll transition from virtual work to in-person work in a matter of weeks. At that time, I will be completely transparent to the nature of my medical condition."
This is insane.
At that time?
Yeah. It's
not at this time?
unacceptable. Honestly, listen, I'm all for privacy, but not when you have a duty to your constituents. I remember John McCain.
It's your only go-to. It's all you got.
Okay, this is just people hamming it up. I'm just going to go to this next video.